Good evening. Evening, everybody. Oh, lovely to see you all here, especially on such a horrible night. I can see that it is also horrible for some people, but maybe not quite so many. It's going up north still. Let's just check whether you can hear and see. I'm assuming that you can. It looks all right here. But yeah. And thank you for the thumbs up. Just checking. Yeah, not a very nice day at all. So, good day for craft, I reckon. And a good day for revisiting an old technique, which I haven't done for a long time, and I thought I'd show you. And this one is for one of our group. So I'm sort of doing that with her in mind as well. So all the products that I'm going to be using today are all old products. So you don't need to go rushing over to the website to see if there's anything new, because actually there isn't. Thank you, new nails, autumnal. What do you reckon? It took us ages to do them. Yeah, but yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, now we've seen them. So yeah, I am going to be using some old embossing folders, some old dies and some old stamps, purely to show you a technique as opposed to show you something that you absolutely need to have. So here we go. I'm going to be working with a 7x7 card blank, which I've already cut out a black piece of card, which is 16 centimetres by 16 centimetres, and a white piece of card, which is 15.5 centimetres by 15.5 centimetres. So that's my card blank and my base. I'm going to pop those to one side, but I'm going to keep this one for now. And I'm going to be working with stamp set, as you can see, well used. It's a Julie Hickey one, and it's called Scent with Love. I have done another version, which is a Christmas version of the same type of card. This one clearly isn't. So that you can see that it can be for any occasion, the technique that I'm going to be using today. So I have got a few other bits and pieces. You can see I've got an embossing folder lurking. This one is the padded hearts. Probably isn't called that at all. Something hearts, which is a Creative Expressions one, an 8x8 one that came out earlier this year. And I thought I would use this one because I thought it all went well with it. So I've got a sneaky little die set, which I will show you in a little while. First of all, I need to do some stamping. So I'm going to get my stamping platform, and let's open that up and pop that onto there. Now I'm using this. This is, as I said, called Scent with Love. So it's like an envelope with a load of flowers inside it. And I'm going to place that a little bit, not quite centre, just a little bit up. So something like that. Then I'm going to grab some of my sentiments there, and I'm going to say Scent with Love, and I'm going to pop that in that corner there. And then Just for You, and I'm going to pop that down in that corner there. So I shall pick those up. And because I'm going to be colouring them with Copic markers, I shall be using Memento ink, and I'm going to be using it in black because I want these elements to really pop. So that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to ink that up and make sure that I've got all that covered. Might need to do 2 layers. We shall see. Just get my, just to see. No, I am going to do 2 layers. I don't know why. Nearly always need to do 2 layers with Memento ink. Not quite so juicy as the VersaFine, but because I want to do the alcohol marker pens, I must use that. Let's hope I didn't move it. We shall soon see. And then just press that down. pretty wonderful. Very pretty, that is. Then I'm going to grab myself an ordinary little, well, not quite so little, I must admit, but an ordinary acrylic block, and just move that to one side because I wanted to incorporate some of the little, so with this set we've got some little sort of daisies and some little tiny little dots, and I want to pop them onto here randomly as well. So I'm going to use the acrylic block to do that, and I've still got it into my stamping platform so that it's not onto a flat surface. We've got room then to just push down a little bit so that it gets a nice crisp thing. So just randomly filling in a few of the areas, really, to be honest, nothing more than that. I'm not going to use that little one there, just use that one. So I've just basically covered all those bits in, and now I'm going to do a spot of colouring. So let me grab that. Now I've chosen some very different colours this time, seeing as I've got autumnal nails on. I'm going for autumnal colours. So again, entirely up to you what you might choose. These are Copic markers because they are my preferred ones. The colours I have got is YR02 light orange, R14 light rouge, Y17 golden yellow, and YG93, which is greyish yellow, and this one, which is G20, and that is wax white. So yeah, very different colours for me. I immediately went for the pinks when I went to do this, and then I thought, no, try something a bit different. What is it other than a piece of card if you don't like it in the end? But I think you will. So I'm going to do a bit of colouring. So I'm going to take my greenish one, which was actually called greyish yellow, and I'm going to just find myself where the petals are, leaves I should say, sorry, leaves, so that I can just give them a colour in this greyish yellow, but I most definitely would call it a green, and just fill in there. A little bit on this one. So with this technique we can use absolutely any stamp. It doesn't have to be a stamp even. It could be a picture from a magazine or a paper pad that you might have. Anything can be done like this. It really works both ways, and I will show you the other one later on. But the point is that you can use whatever you've got in your stash. Just want to make sure that I've got all, some leaves up here. Trying to get all the leaves so that they're all done in the same colour. Okay. Working hard getting all of your lovely Christmas card kits out to you. Whole load of batch went out today, and I've got some more. The rest of them will all go out tomorrow, so they will be all on their way to you. And I will be sending through tomorrow, long before anyone gets them, I'll be sending through the instructions, which our lovely June has done for us. So I'm just going to randomly do one of my flowers. So this one is in the quite a bright yellow, but again, going for the autumnal look, and just a bit of colour around there. If I wanted to do them in watercolour, I would have to make sure that I've got a different base for my ink. So I'd have to be using the VersaFine, because otherwise this would run if I was to put water on it. But if I'm okay with my alcohol marker, so that is the real difference if you're going for the different inks. So just be a bit careful there. They would probably not be too bad, but Right, I'm going to go for a bit of yellow on all these little stamens here because I can. And some of these little daisies I think will do as well. So not all of them, just some randomly. So just give in a little bit of a colour as we go. Then I'm going to take my light orange and we'll do some more. So they're all within the same sort of colour spectrum. They're all the yellows and oranges. Again, when you're picking the colours, you can go obviously for the very vivid colours, but it's nice, I think, just to keep to the same sort of palette if you're not happy with going into the huge different colours. So I'm just going through these. Let's do that little one there. And let's do this one as well in that colour, I think. I hope you're not asking me questions because I can't hear them, as you know. There wasn't much point in doing those yellow dots, was there? Because now I can't see them. I blended them in. Never mind. Yeah, workshop things are all gone off as well, which I'm really looking forward to them. Got some fantastic workshops coming up for you. And we're now down to the last few before Christmas. 3, I think there are, before Christmas. So, yeah. And nearly all of the workshops stuff has gone off. Obviously not for the last one, which is the 18th of, I think it's the 18th of November. That's the very last one this year for the online workshops. And if you haven't been to one, put it in your diary for next year, because I think you're going to really enjoy them. I know my ladies that come along, and sometimes the gents, not just ladies, and from all over the world, because that's the whole idea about the Zoom. You don't have to be right here. It'd be lovely to have you all right here. Be a bit of a squash. But yeah, it's the whole idea is that you can join from all over. We've got people in Canada, Australia, Norway, America, you name it, they are there. I'm quite liking that. I'm now going to take my, what do we call it? Wax white. This is a lovely colour because this is just, as it says on the tin, a sort of white. So it gives a colour, but it's got a sort of tinge of green to it. So for me, I'm just filling in between all these pieces to give it a bit of a depth without giving it too much colour, if that makes any sense. I didn't want to bring yet another colour into my palette. So I'm just going round the edges here where there's a little bit of pattern where you can pick that up. And then it just gives that a little bit of a form. Okay, so just bringing that in there. Just going to go around those a little bit as well, give them a bit of, but if you look, hopefully you can see that it is just, it's a very much a hint rather than anything else. I think I'm going to do a little bit around those as well, because I can. Once it dries off, it does dry very much lighter, but it just gives it a really bit of a hint there. Okay, so that's more or less my colouring done. If I was sort of not pushed for time, I would do a bit more. But that's all I'm going to do for this moment in time. I'm going to put my colours to one side. Now, I'm now going to bring in some dies because I want to make this just a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is an eclipse card. Now, an eclipse card means that you have something that is eclipsing everything else, so that you bring out a shape you put it back in again at a slightly different angle so it has like a shadow effect. And it was all the rage some time ago to do words. So I've got a 5 centimetre high, in terms of that wide, I should say, alphabet set. And again, we had these absolutely ages ago. And obviously you are limited to how big your dies are and then how big your piece of card is, because you've got to be able to fit the words in. So I can fit in the word hugs, okay? And I'm going to have to line these up, and I want to get them straight. So I'm going to take my metal ruler, and I'm going to first of all put my metal ruler along the edge of my card so that it is sitting absolutely parallel right on top of my card. I can just about see the card all the way down. Then I can happily place my letters straight on to the base of the top of my ruler there, and I know that they are going to be all absolutely straight because they're sitting on top of the ruler. Okay, so I'm just going to move them so that they are like that. Then I'm going to take a piece of low tack tape and tape them all together and all into position straight onto my card, like that. Now they are now all into position. I'm going to grab my base of my machine. Now I have to tell you very sad news. Gemma the Gemini is no more. Yeah, she unfortunately passed away yesterday. Can you believe it? Not very old either. We are talking about a die cutting machine before anyone gets a bit upset about what I'm saying, although one would get upset with what you're saying, I have to say. So I'm on to basic die cutting machines at the moment. I'm not going to move your machine too much here. So let me just, yeah. And unfortunately, I'm told that, just to make sure that I've got them all, so you can see there. Can you see there? I am told that they don't have any in stock. So manual machines it is for a while. So I'm now going to remove carefully my dies with the die cuts in place. So they are all stuck there like that. Okay, I'm going to keep them to one side because before I do anything else, I now want to take my piece that I've cut and I'm going to grab my heart-shaped embossing folder. And I'm just going to make sure, I think I'm going to make it that way around. I'm going to pop that into my embossing folder. And I've done it on purpose once I've cut the letters out because I don't want the letters to be uneven. I want them to be smooth like they are. So I'm now going to run that through my machine. That clearly has to be through a different machine because it's a bigger thing. So if you can see now, I've got a debossed, because I turned it around the other way, a debossed pattern on there. Okay, which I think looks quite nice. I'm going to then take my card and I'll have it a side folding for a change. So I'm going to first of all put my layer, my black layer on. You can see I've got yet another glue. The reason why I've got another glue this time is because I don't know what I've done with my other one. I took it on holiday with me. And I didn't get it out on holiday, so I don't know what I've done with it. There you go. Now, I've turned it over. You can see lots of marks on the back because that's the alcohol marks coming through. But the one thing to remember when you're sticking this down is you need to make sure that these little bits here are also stuck. So you ordinarily would just put glue around the outside. Whoops. But you do need to make sure that bits and pieces here have also got glue on them, because they need to be laying quite flat. Okay, I'll turn that over, wipe the glue off, and then pop that into position so that I've got that fairly even. And you've got a great big word, hugs, on the top. Now, that is lovely, and we could send it like that, but maybe the black looks a little bit harsh, so we will do what we were going to do. I'll pop that to one side, and we'll take our letters that we've got. So I'm just going to remove the letters here. Pop them to one side. So you could use any alphabet, but I have found that this sort of size works the best for me. The reason being that otherwise, to put them on, which we're going to do in a minute, they are very, very thin to work with otherwise. So that's quite a nice chunky alphabet. So I've already cut myself some thin pieces of tape. By the way, we have got the foam rolls back in. So if you have been looking out for them, we have got those back in. So I'm now going to lay some foam onto more or less as much as I can. I'm not going to bother with the little tiny pieces like across here. I'm not going to worry about that bit there, but I'm going to, well, I'm not going to worry either, but I'm going to do as much as I can on the others. So you can use your foam roll, of course, but you would need to cut them just a little bit thinner, because we can't have it so that you can see it down that side there. I'm again not bothering really with that bit at the bottom. Turn over the letter G, and we can fit in a bit down here. So another way of doing this, which I've done in the past, is to put people's names on them. So again, you are a little bit restricted depending on what size card you're doing as to, you know, if someone like my son is called Christopher, you'd really have to call him Chris, because otherwise you would be probably running out of room. But you can sort of put that sort of thing in, or love, or, you know, all sorts. Just check from the other side that I can't see the tape, which is okay. And I will have to check which way around that one goes. Yeah, it does go around that way. And then just a little bit of foam onto the back here. So any stamp, any bits of paper would also look really good. Any old patterns that they've got maybe big pictures in, they would look really good as well. One down the bottom. And any words, as I say, make it very personal. Particularly good if I'm using these large letters for people with short names. So Anne, Amy, Pat, they would all work. So I'll keep them to one side because they might be handy another time. Bring my card back in, and I'm going to remove my tape, the backing of the tape, but I have to make sure that when I put this back, it is in the right place. So obviously that is not in the right place because I've not lined up my picture behind it. Okay, so simply make sure that when you go to put it in that you have lined that up first. I'm going to add a little bit of glue onto the back there as well. Just check again. And you can put it absolutely straight down, but I prefer to make it just fractionally off to one side so that you can really see the shadow behind. Can you see what I mean there? Let's bring it up so that you can see. It is fractionally just to one side so that you can start to see the shadow. So when it comes to Christmas cards, Xmas, joy, Noel, that type of thing all work really well. I shall show you one in just a second. This one's pretty obvious that I've got it in the right place. So again, just fractionally off so that I can see the black shining through. Shining? It's hardly shining, is it? The black showing through, I should have said. And it's just a fun technique, really. And it's a nice way of having a flat card that you're making a bit bigger. I've got 2mm tape, but you don't need to have 2. You could have just 1. It's just to bring it up very, very slightly. And I think rather than having now the word that was really in your face in the black, I think this looks much prettier, much more subtle. And this card is especially for our Kathy. I'm not so sure that she'll be able to watch today because she's just had a really serious operation today. But this is what we're sending. We're sending a message to say we're thinking of you. Whoops. So again, just slightly to one side. Let's pull these out. And you could do a load more. You could do more colouring and whatever. But can you see that the hugs is there, but it's now quietened down, if you see what I mean. And I think much less in your face, which is really pretty. I like the fact with the embossing folder, again, it breaks up the stark whiteness, but I didn't want it, which is why I did it afterwards on my letters, because then they wouldn't have sat properly and it wouldn't have looked quite so good. Okay. Let me quickly show you another version of it, a Christmas version. So this one is a 5x7 card, and I've simply taken a stamp that my lovely friend Carol gave me last year, just a winter scene. So we've got the trees and whatever. I haven't done any embossing with it. It's very, very plain. But as you can see, I've cut the word Noel out of it. I put a little bit of sparkle on it as well. Perhaps you can see that glinting too. It would have been quite nice to put a falling snow folder through as well, but I didn't think of that until afterwards. So yeah, that's your Christmas version, but there's many others as well with any stamps and with any, you could even use dies, you know, put a few flowery flat dies on there and then cut it out, would also look very lovely. So there you go, Eclipse cards. That's what we've been up to today, just to give you a different idea of what you might want to choose to use. You could always use other alphabets. We've got this sort of one, which is the lowercase one from Julie Hickey. And again, then you could put a lot bigger word in it because you can see the size. It is considerably different. These are about 3 centimeters tall, but quite different. So you could fit a whole name in of someone's, and it could be very much an individual. I have got some of those on the website just in case, but I haven't got these. They were a long time ago, but I'm sure you've got something that's equally as yummy. Oh, Kathy, you are there. Oh, you haven't had it yet. Oh, goodness me. I can't be doing with this time change. Well, anyway, there you go, my love. That one's for you. All right. So thank you for joining me today. Now, I do hope that you will be able to be with me on Sunday. Our usual session is 11 o'clock on this Sunday, which is the 22nd of October, I think. Yeah, 22nd of October. We'll definitely have some new products. As to quite what they are or not depends on deliveries. So I already have some new products that we might be using, but I'm looking out for some other ones. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You have to come along at 11 o'clock on Sunday in order to see what on earth I'm going on about. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, we're all willing you on, Kathy. So go for it. We'll be thinking of you. We'll soon be having you back and joining us, you know, in person. Even if you are on the other side of the world, we know that you're there. So take care till then, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed some different cards. Oh yeah, don't forget, thanks Di, thumbs up down here would be really very much appreciated. And of course, you can always come back to this. It's always here for you. And maybe our friend June may well, I'm sure, just write out a few instructions for us as well. So thank you. And again in advance, thank you for taking the time with me. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thanks a lot. Bye.